11:59 at Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Hey, welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. We come to you live every day at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 4 Pacific. For about an hour or 90 minutes each day. We talk about 3 gun-related topics, different topics throughout the week. We run it live on YouTube, and we simulcast it over at gunchannels.com. We watch the live feedback that's coming in from the text chat over on Gun Channels, as well as YouTube. When it's all over, at the end of the week, we'll take the audio and post them as the different shows as podcasts over on iTunes. So we encourage everybody that's listening to the show now or in the future to give us some feedback. Let us know what platform you were listening on. Subscribe, like the channel, give us some comments. All those things are a real favor because they help the show to get recommended to more listeners, and we do appreciate the time you take to do that. So we have 4 hosts. Dano's not here today. We've replaced him. So we've got Hash Tactical joining us from California. Thanks for jumping in.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Then we got Bob jumping in from Canada. Thanks for joining.
Hey, glad to be here.
And then we got Smeggy coming in again. Thanks for joining.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
And I'm down here in Arizona. So, like say, we got sick of Dano. He was really just being a drag on the show. So, talked him out. We told him we weren't doing the show anymore, and we brought in Hash Tactical instead. So, this is episode 325. We were going to talk about England guns, but I don't know what we were thinking because it's every second matters, and we've been wanting to have Ashley on for a long time. So, I asked her last night, and she was had some time in her schedule to jump in. So, we're gonna get rid of England guns, talk about them in the future. Actually, we should probably have Rick. I think it's Rick that grew up over there, and have him talk about guns with some firsthand knowledge. Anyway, we'll play it by ear for the first segment of the show. Then we may or may not talk about custom guns, depending on how it goes. And then we'll do all the stuff that we normally do in a show, like the gun shop of the day and the movie of the day and all the other stuff. Before we get into it, though, we usually take a break at the beginning, see if anything happened overnight, anything worth talking about.
Nothing that I'm aware of.
I was sleeping.
That makes it easy. So then, I don't know. So we got Hash Tactical on. We've known each other for a while now on the Instagram. We finally met up at SHOT Show 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then, so we get to meet up at SHOT Show once in a while. Or no, I went to California, I think is what happened. Then we got to meet up at SHOT Show after.
SHOT Show.
So we met up a couple of times, which is cool. And I think you're just doing a really interesting, I don't know what you call it, like a project or a channel or I don't know what you call it. It's an Instagram page. So you're kind of, I would say Instagram centric as opposed to a lot of the people I talk to are YouTube centric. So what do you call what you do?
I call it fake it till you make it. I blog and I share information when I can. I pretend to know what I'm talking about, and I steal really dope pictures and kind of bring in an audience because, of course, I get the eyes and ears, and then I can talk about some of the stuff that's going on here in Cali. So they have to put up with the boring stuff in order to get the fun stuff. So it kind of works out. I guess you can call it a blog. And people listen. A lot of them are probably 9 years old, but I'm still thankful. And I've been doing some other stuff too. I'm actually I'm doing a collab with the Firearm blog on some of the Cali compliant solutions, if you will. So putting more information out there for people who need it and obviously want to stay protected.
Yeah, well, you like California has some gun laws even more restrictive than Canada's, which I thought were some of the worst in the world.
Yeah.
So like the pistol grip, the whole pistol grip thing and all that, like that somehow makes the gun more dangerous. It's really strange.
It is, and it's just it's inconvenient, and it's not as friendly, I'll tell you.
So I like the way you've got a handle on what's going on. So there's these different social media platforms. Instagram is one of them. I would say it's probably going to be one of the contenders for the next big one, or whatever, lead the way into the as the big ones start to fail, Facebook and YouTube and stuff.
Mhm.
And there's a couple of different strategies people have done on Instagram that at least I'm familiar with, who have been really, really successful, like you have. And y'all kind of doing it in different ways. And I really like your take on it, where you're reposting for sure, and you've got a good eye, like Marco. You know the kind of pictures that attract an audience of activists and people that are more than just passersby, I suspect, because then you mix it in, as you can see, with some stuff that's more, California, like you said, California law specific. And obviously that's a big issue in California. You guys got a lot of gun owners, but you have a lot of attacks, and it's difficult to mobilize in the time frames that they give you. And channels like yourselves are, I think, really the things that have kept you guys alive to the level you are. But anyway, I think you do a really interesting take on it, where most people are doing it to sell a product or to, I don't know, create a platform so that they can eventually sell a product. You're basically you're killing that format, except to just sell freedom.
Well, yeah, and I love to meet people. There's some really great people out there. I'm a rookie on all levels. I don't understand half the laws I read. I have to read them 4 times and then go to YouTube and have someone like the Daily Shooter translate them for me, like dumb them down, if you will. And then, there's people who know what's good, and I kind of piggyback off of that. So, yeah, I definitely pay attention, because there's a lot of people out there who know a lot more than I do. So yeah, like I said, fake it till you make it.
Right on. Well, that's the whole thing about the internet. We don't all need to, there's only so many experts. The rest of us are just learning, and you're facilitating that. So it's pretty cool.
Thank you.
All right, so then I guess people might think, okay, so you're doing an Instagram channel, a very successful one. If we look up at the top again at numbers, 152,000 is nothing to sneeze at, considering you're not necessarily throwing out the typical stuff, puppies or getting kicked in the balls or bikini models. You're doing kind of your just, I guess I would call it like your high-end gun photography, but mixed in with some humor for sure, and then some advocacy stuff. I think obviously you figured out a good mix, better than most people, as far as being able to add the advocacy stuff into it. So anyway, so then quite a large channel. You've mentioned working with some of the big blogs and stuff, but you're not beholden to any of the actual pro gun owner type groups. You work for all of them, basically, correct?
Yeah, I work for people like me. I work for California. Like I said, I'm not tactical by any means, and honestly, all of my guns are pretty boring. Like a lot of these laws, like I have a Glock 26, and I have 2 mags for it. Like I kind of I shouldn't say I'm content, because of course guns are sexy and they're fun and everybody wants more, but I don't necessarily have a real agenda other than wanting to just protect myself, and be able to defend myself and not have to, I don't know, do a cartwheel in between changing mags every time. And that's the kind of stuff that I care about. I mean, there's, of course, the Second Amendment, it's our right, and I get that, but really, they're just kind of making it hard for us to just live comfortably and and secure, if you will. If you have one of those new Cali compliant options, which I'm going featureless, but if you do, and someone's breaking into your house and you have a malfunction, then you're shit out of luck, and that's what they're doing to the people in California, and that's not right. And that's kind of why I chime in when I can and do what I do, because they suck.
Yeah, it's or if you go the other route where you get rid of the pistol grip and the other kind of stuff like that. I had a chance when I was out in California to see both types, and this was before the new law or whatever, but my one friend had the bullet button, and it's like, yeah, that was kind of annoying to change the mags. We went to the range, and a couple times I'm like, I didn't get the thing right. Like I messed it up. And then the other person went with like that blade thing that goes over the pistol grip. And that was just weird having your thumb like sticking out on the wrong side. And I don't know. I don't get it because it certainly doesn't change the operation of the gun. It just makes it uncomfortable to use.
And there's the extra step, and then now that's actually the issue is that that's what they've deemed, that little button that you're talking about, that silly little button, they've deemed it an assault weapon. Of course, you probably know that already, and now it's now we have to get rid of them all. it's a game, really. They don't really know what the hell they're doing, but they're obviously putting a dent in what we're doing, so it's working.
Well, they know what their ultimate goal is, and their ultimate goal is no guns ever, but they can't say that. So then they go with, well, just like this type. So they try and describe the type they mean. So they thought, well, if we just use pistol grip and detachable magazine and, you know, bayonet lug and blah, 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 they'll get rid of all the ARs and all the AKs. Like they'll all go away. And then people said, oh, you know, under your definition here, a detachable magazine is one that doesn't need a tool. So if you need a tool to remove it, it's attached and therefore it doesn't count. And then they're like, oh crap, we don't like that anymore. So now they were basically going with the bullet button thing is still a detachable magazine, so it falls back into the previous category. So now there are new things people are doing where you have to pop out the takedown pin or something, because the new definition is a magazine that you have to remove the action in order to remove the magazine is considered attached.
So basically, yeah, if you can't convince them, confuse them. And that's where we're at.
Yeah, and be as vague as possible. I remember seeing that they never would even release, I think they just did now. I saw on Instagram maybe a month ago or something. But it's like they're like, you guys are all going to have to register your thing, but we don't even really know which ones yet. But you're just going to have to do it. Like, they haven't even figured out what the regulations are going to be, but they know that they're there. And yeah, we'll tell you all later if you're felons or not.
And California is good for that. I would urge people not to register anything, only because you don't know what that's going to entail a year from now or 2 years from now, because they're pretty good at changing stuff around. I'm not a fan of the whole registration process. So, but yeah, they have until the end of December to get it done, and the regs just came out. They changed a few definitions from the initial release that they recalled, and I think tried to add some more stuff to it so that it's more widespread. Yeah.
So it seems like they can't. The ball's in their court. By keeping it obscure, vague, they win. By keeping it difficult to understand, they win. And by having so many things out there, they win because it's difficult to know when they're coming due or to rally people behind each specific one. Obviously, they got you through attrition or whatever it would be by having so many petitions that people had to keep track of and then sign, and so they were able to disqualify, I'm sure, great numbers of them. So I guess my question is there anything, any efforts towards trying to make like a tally or some sort of a board where people can see, is there like any of the forums or anything that are keeping track of where the different ballot initiatives and whatever are, like along the path of being coming along?
I mean, I am on all the email updates, but a lot of people, you know, they don't read those. You know, a lot of it's spam. I mean, you know, sometimes, but that's where I get my information. I go to the websites, you know, Gun Owners of America, FPC, Cal Guns Foundation, CRPA. They're pretty good at updating all of their web pages, and I kind of just check that out and keep myself informed. Really, share what I can.
Right on. Well, let me go backwards a little bit since we kind of went right into California stuff, which obviously is a big topic, and you're got your finger on it, so you know, it's worthy of talking about. But just to, since I think this is the first time we've had you on the show, as far as being from California and being into guns at the level you're at now, when can I ask, when did you start and what got you into guns?
Oh, this is going to sound really cliche, but my boyfriend at the time bought me a Glock 26, or he I guess, introduced me to the Glock world. I was that girl who always left the door open and left my house, ran errands, and kind of left everything unlocked and didn't really, think anything could ever, happen to me. I was never worried about anything, but now, he taught me to be prepared just in case. So yeah, now I lock the doors and I keep my Glock close. And, I'll tell you, it was an interesting start because I was not nervous about it. I wanted to get into it. I wanted to go to the range. I wanted to learn to shoot, but because I didn't know what part of the weapon did what, it was scary. So I understand how a lot of, people shy away from it, or just, they're really anti, because, it can be intimidating. I left my Glock on the shelf for a month and never even took it down until, he came over and supervised. And, so at first he basically just showed me how to rack the slide. I did that for a week, and then changed the mag. I did that for a week. And, it's definitely a process. And, fast forward 2 years later, and here I am. It's definitely a very addicting, I guess, if you will, like, hobby. I love the fact that, you can do so many different things, customize your ARs and change all these parts. Like, it's people really kind of make it hot. So I guess that's what intrigued me in the end, really, outside of the X, if you will.
Yeah, the anti-gunners do have it right. I mean, guns are dangerous, but they're dangerous to your bank account.
Well, if I didn't fear my weapon, I never would have learned to respect it. So I'm thankful for that. I was home with snap caps for, a month before I even went to the range. And by the time I went to the range, he just lined up, all the Glocks, and I shot them all, one at a time. And it was fun, and I was comfortable, and it was a good time. Yeah, it's just.
So did you ever end up shooting like an actual good gun instead of a Glock? Or do you still shoot Glocks?
My Beretta, I think, is my favorite. I don't share that too much because, of course, all the Glock fans on my page, they'll shred me to pieces. But I do. I love my Beretta, and I think I actually shoot better with that. My 92 FS.
No, you got to try the Browning high power if you want to strike quality.
You guys are pretty cool.
Didn't see that coming. So we do have a couple of questions coming in. So basically, you said it was 2 years basically you've been in the game.
Well, 2 years for my Instagram page, but I've probably been shooting for like about 3 or 4. I still suck though.
Well, it's one of those things like anything, right? We'll never get perfect. We just always get better all the time.
Well, I just think it's cool. I know you were going about to ask questions or whatever, but I think it's cool that like you got into it and then you're like way far into it, a lot more than a lot of gun owners out there. Like a lot of people, they have guns, they shoot them their whole life, and they're like, what's this Second Amendment thing? Like, yeah, whatever. Oh, they passed a new law. Okay, I guess I'll have to go register my thing. But the fact that you got into them and then realized, holy crap, like these are under attack, and now you're fighting to, keep rights. I think that's cool.
When I first started paying attention, just some of it was so ass backwards. I was like, wow, they're really trying to run game on us. And I think that's what I was pissed off because I hate when people get over on me. And I'm like, I think that's actually selfishly, that's kind of what inspired me just a little bit, only because, I mean, they're bullshitting and lying to our face and getting away with it. And sometimes you just want them to know, hey, you know what? We're not all stupid. We see you and you suck. And sometimes you just have to say it out loud in order for you to, I guess, feel better about it. It helps. It's almost like therapy, bitching about it.
No, it's awesome. And that's a big aspect that a lot of people are willing to just, if you're not interested, you've never been exposed to firearms really, you don't care one way or the other. If it's a right that's taken away, it's a right you don't care about. So why would you fight it? But, it takes somebody who's experienced it to even know what they're losing. I think it's neat though that you are exploring your interest in guns publicly like this, and I suspect one of the reasons you're still in it. I mean, I'm just assuming here, but one of the reasons you're still in it is because you're in the community. I mean, obviously you know a bunch of people, you do a bunch of activities. It seems like you're out almost every weekend, or at least more than once a month at some sort of an event, like in real life. taking photos, like going through the photos here. A lot of these are pictures that other people took, but you're, interested in the modifications and the alterations to the guns to make them kind of personalized. And I think that's an aspect of firearms that too many people, again, those people in the middle that are like, I don't care one way or the other about guns. Why would you want to own an AR-15? Well, they're not thinking about this AR-15 pistol. It's super cool. They're not thinking about stuff like that. And by showing this to them in a very cool way, it's definitely more packaged than anything I've got going on. This is going to bring people some insight into firearms that they might not have seen, and you're not off-putting. The channel is interesting for somebody. I mean, look, there's a little doggy, and that's not off-putting to anybody who's new to firearms. So I think that you're really providing a service for people who both are new to firearms, who might have that question, why would you want an AR-15? You're showing them really quickly why you might want one and the kind of things you might do with it. But also for the people that might be just old and fuds, bored. Why would I want to do anything to my AR-15? Well, wait a minute. This is what, Trinity's 14 years old? A little 14-year-old girl or something is out there.
She's awesome.
Yeah. So that's another thing. I mean, you got to be you are an inspiration for these youngins. I mean, there's so many different females out there on the Instagram, and I see, the ones that are really working, like Trinity. She's got your logos running.
No, I won't shoot with her. She's pretty badass. She'll embarrass me. That kid is dope. She really is.
We'll mention one more time. This is your little doggy. How's that little dog?
She's good.
Okay, so now we had some questions out there. Will you stay in California if the gun laws continue to get worse?
Yes, I will.
So you're California no matter what.
Well, my family's here, and that's where it's at for me. And if I don't bitch to Sacramento, then who will? Right?
Right on. Heavy.
I believe today is Heavy's moving day, right? I saw a picture earlier that he's officially in Arizona.
We just had one of the people I met up with when actually, no, we didn't. Smeggy was there with me when I was in California. He was down in San Diego. We went to that Glock store. Is that what it's called?
Oh, yeah.
And then we drove up to LA, and then he drove with me in my van around to all those different Ring of Fire manufacturer like factories. And then we met up with this guy Heavy, one of the guys on Gun Channels. Yeah. Then we went over and hooked up with that Hush Nasi. And then Smeggy went back to get to San Diego to get on a plane. And then that's when we met up. And then I had to run back home. So
Smeggy didn't just meet me.
Yeah, you just missed meeting Smeggy.
Thanks, Smeggy.
Well, I'm sorry. I had a flight to come home.
To your free state?
Medium free. I mean, Michigan's all right. We do have a handgun registry. That's kind of annoying, but everything else is pretty good. Shall issue open carry without a permit.
On that trip,
all that kind of stuff.
On that trip, we went up with Heavy, and he just this weekend is moving from San Bernardino to Phoenix. So we're just giving him shit for bailing on you guys.
That's okay. I understand. I get it.
Yeah, I admire you though for staying there and fighting the fight. I mean, I love spending my winters in Arizona because I can carry a gun there, and I can't do that at home.
Now, another concern I've seen on the YouTube side is people are concerned that by going to the gym and then taking a tactical response class, Dano looks a lot different, but this is in fact a different person. This is not Dano.
Yes, Dano did not get the change done yet. And even if he did, I don't think he would look that good.
We're getting into our questions coming in specifically, so I'm going to say let's move along for the sake of moving along. We do have Every Second Matters today. So we'll move into the next segment of the show, and we'll dig into custom work on guns. Before we do, we always take a break between the first and second segment of the show each day to feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. As we mentioned, Gun Channels is a community we built about 4 years ago now. It's completely membership driven. There's no ads over there. It's completely run by its members. There's no cost unless you want to pay for it. And it's very little if you do. There's lots of stuff to do, not just these live chats. There's the 24-hour gun show. You can buy, sell, and trade. You can ask questions. You can answer questions. There's calendars and all the stuff you'd expect on a social platform. It's all firearms focused, and of course we own it. We literally built the thing with our own fingers and mice, and you don't have to worry about any of the garbage that you might have on some of those other platforms. So with that in mind, we like to feature one of the members each day, and today it's Nightstryke, co-host of the Hit or Miss show on Tuesday nights with Smeggy, and one of the admins on the site on gun channels. We've featured Nightstryke before. I think this week we really were I just picked people that were active in the room when I was filling out the schedule. So there's no like theme to this week. So I know we've hit Nightstryke before, but he's worthy of addressing more than once. Like I say, he's one of the admins. He helps keep the place, literally keeps the lights on, as well as bringing a lot of good technical insight, as well as being active in both the text chat, in the other areas of the website, and of course on the live streams as well. So thanks, Nightstryke. You really help make Gun Channels what it is.
Yeah, he's out there right now. So,
he'll be blushing just like a little girl.
All right. Well, then that way we can get into the next segment. We do a gun business segment each Friday, and today we're going to talk about customizing guns. So it's apropos. We got #tactical on here. Is it a California thing? Oh, one of the questions I was going to ask you, is it a California thing to modify the guns, or is it just your preference that you like to repost those types of gun pictures? Or I guess what I'm asking is, are you taking pictures of the typical California guns, or are you going towards the modified guns?
I kind of post pretty much a little bit of everything, I think, but I post a lot of Glocks because people tend to like that. I posted stuff that I don't really sometimes like, but I look at it and the original picture got 3,000 likes, and I think, well, it's gotta be good, right? And I don't have to like it to post it. Sometimes I have to Google some of the shit that I post, to be honest. And I literally just I go to bed at night thinking, shit, did I post an airsoft today on accident? Please don't do that ever. I kind of it's the stuff I worry about. So I kind of just follow the people that know in that regard. But I personally like my guns. I put a pair of True Glows on all my guns and keep it simple. I don't really do too much to them. I'm still training, so I think that I kind of want to wait until I deserve to modify anything. But I think that people who have been around a long time, they know what's good. There's a lot of A to Z Arms stuff out there that they like, and I post a lot of that. I get a lot of traffic, and then I can talk gun laws. It works.
I think that's interesting the way you just said that, as far as you feel like you need to, deserve to be able to upgrade, because so many people will get something and, they're just getting into it, and maybe they're, not very good, and they figure, if I just buy the newest, little thing, that's my problem. I'm not shooting good because I have the wrong sight, or I have the wrong trigger, or I need a little bump on my magazine release, or whatever the thing is. And I think that's an interesting, I like your perspective of, I have to train and get good, and then if I improve my equipment, it will also improve my shooting.
Well, there was a big difference. I shot a Glock 19 with an agency trigger a couple weeks ago, and I was just steel all day, ping, ping, ping. It was fun. I kind of felt like Rambo. I was like, yeah, this is good. I did good today. But it was definitely the trigger. And you kind of have to ground yourself and say, well, you gotta just learn on your gun and make sure that you actually do well before you get all the fancy stuff. It's almost like cheating, no? If you just skip to the fancy stuff that helps you, it's like a crutch, I think.
I don't know if it's a crutch necessarily, or you're crippling yourself though, because it's you don't know how. Those are the people that get a regular gun and they go, oh, that's why I'm not shooting good. Well, if you shot good with a regular gun, then you shoot extra good with your gun. But if you can barely shoot with your fancy gun, then you are handicapping yourself. You can't go to it.
I've always been of the opinion that most guns will shoot better than most shooters can shoot.
Very true.
Although I guess one thing I would say, as far as customizing for appearance, I'll admit I do that. I swapped out a bunch of my AR stuff to just add a little bit of blue accents to it and things. So I don't know. I think that's kind of neat to customize your guns.
Maggie, you put blue neon lights under your Hyundai.
No, because I only drive American.
Well, if you go backwards, name a war where guys weren't identifying their rifles, either for necessity, so when they threw them in a pile, they could figure out which ones was which, or just because they're boredom and they're in a foxhole and they're in a life or death situation, and it's just a way to relieve stress or to get your mind off of the pain or something. So I don't think a lot of firearm, it doesn't have roots in all firearms history. It's not the cowboys would.
Yeah, swords and spears. There's historical evidence people would customize their swords.
You're right. The weapons that are legal in Canada are sometimes modified.
Yeah.
What's your pistol, Snaggy? You shoot SIGs?
No, I got a CZ75.
Maggie can't afford no SIG.
What are you talking about? I could if I wanted.
All right.
Probably.
But they are nice to look at.
He's on the CZ boat.
Yeah, CZs are better anyway, so problem solved.
They're kind of a copy of a high power, so they're not too bad.
I think you'll learn pretty quick. We all have our biases here.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what makes guns fun, and that's what makes customizing guns fun. So then you can have your biases on that stuff. So, as far as the topic goes, said something about, the gun biz sending your gun off to be customized. Was that more just like the type of stuff you got to go through if you want to send something to someone? Like, I think that'd be useful information. I've never sent my gun off anywhere.
There's not much to it.
Drop it in a mailbox and say, okay, put a stamp on the side of it or something.
Yeah, you want to insure it, of course, and probably track it just so, the post office doesn't lose it on you. But you just have to make sure the carrier is okay with it, ship it the way they want it shipped, and then you're shipping it to a FFL, so you can ship directly to them, and they'll just ship it directly back to you. So that's kind of nice, especially if it's a part of a gun, right? If it's a slide or something. And I definitely think that nowadays I think there's a higher, I'm assuming there's a higher percentage of people that have spare guns, more than the one gun. So they have guns that they can take apart and send a chunk of it off to be modified and not affect their day-to-day life, right? So I suspect that's happening more and more all the time. There's definitely more and more people offering services, right? And different designs and different modifications for optics or serrations or digging out sights or lightning them, I guess. Not to mention colors, right? People are coating them.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever been a big fan of all that, but I understand it. It's just like doing stuff to your car, but I don't know. Guns are, well, I guess depending on what kind of gun you got. If you got something that's already perfect, but you don't need to do anything to it.
Right. You mean like, Glock perfection? Oh, wait. Everyone changes everything on their perfect Glock.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyways, though, G-Webs, you said, like, just however the carriers want you to do it. Are you aware pretty much, does every, I guess basically be UPS, FedEx, and the post office, do all three of those ship firearms?
No, I don't think so. And I don't know off the top of my head what they all are, but I've only shipped through regular post office, and that's like when I'm working basically for a gun shop, like doing the, under their guidance or whatever, their like authority. So I don't know what it's like for a regular. I haven't personally shipped one. I've only received them, and then they go to an FFL.
Okay, I was just curious. Maybe someone out in the chat knows those. Because basically, I mean, when we're talking, pretty much the only three
guns you put in the box, ship them, you get them back, and then nobody cares what they are. So, the actual guns, I haven't.
Yeah, Cali's all through FFL, and they ship it off for you.
Oh, if you want to modify something, you don't have the option of just sending it straight. They want you to.
No, not if there's a serial number on it. Nope.
Okay. But the other good news there is that there's a heck of a lot of people modifying guns in California, from what I understand.
Yeah, there is. Every time I've gotten something Cerakoted, though, I've always regretted it and wanted it to go black again. So, what do I know?
Yeah,
All
they
right.
said,
Thanks, Roomtastic. He's
Yeah.
out on the YouTube side saying USPS is long guns only. So that's a good tidbit to know.
Well, I've shipped pistols in the regular post office, and you just have to ship them overnight. And whatever.
Oh, fake news. What the hell, dude? You making me look stupid?
I don't know. Maybe that's a law for just regular people. Like I say, I've been doing it as an FFL when I've done it. But we put them in. Like you saw that box. Or I don't know. Did you see the box the PMR 30 came in?
Yeah.
That was just a whatever. What do they call those?
Like a flat rate or whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to say we've solved that one. I don't know what else there's to say. Obviously, it's a giant topic, customizing guns, sending them off specifically. Maybe if we had somebody in here who does that more often or something, they can add something to it. So, like always, if this is something you're shaking your fist at the speaker or at the screen because we're not addressing something that's obvious, or you'd like to contribute something to one of these topics, then email us. It's dailygunshow@gmail.com. We'll be more than happy to readdress the subject and bring you on as an expert, or to just talk about whatever we missed. That's sort of the reason we do the show like this. So we're not necessarily offering you a finished product as much as a kernel or a seed that you can take and continue a conversation someplace else, or go research something and do a project on your YouTube or your Facebook or your Instagram. All right, so we'll dig in, and we don't have a gun shop today. We do like to hit a gun shop every single day, though. It's one of the reasons we do the show every single weekday, so that every day we can talk about a new gun shop. But we talked to Hash a little bit earlier, and we asked if she would do our gun shop today. So do you have one that you can talk about? Maybe gun shop in California?
Oh, hi. Sorry, guys. I'm here. I had you on mute. Yeah, I tend to frequent Bolsa Guns in Orange County. They're pretty good. They've been around since, I believe, the 60s. So long-standing gun shop. Originally from Kentucky, and they come out to California and
Bolsa Guns?
That sounds like an interesting decision.
Yeah, well, you know, they got the farm back home, so they get to go and come as they please. Nonetheless, they actually were pretty good with me. They let me get back there and work on my own AR with supervision, which of course I need. And that's why they're kind of my favorite for that. I like it. Good.
What's the name again?
Bolsa Guns, Orange County.
BOLSA?
BOLSA. They're on Bolsa Avenue. Hunters, they're big into hunting. They do a lot of shotgun work there too, and hunting rifles and stuff.
When me and Smeggy were driving, or Smeggy and I were driving around LA, we were looking for those factories, but we didn't see a heck of a lot of gun shops. Are there a lot of gun shops out there?
You probably didn't notice them because they don't allow advertising on the outside of it. Like you can't, like if my decal, for example, was on a gun shop window, they'd get cited for that. You can't have
because of the silhouette of the gun.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, there's sometimes not necessarily incognito, but you know, more so sporting goods shops, if you will, kind of. If they're just, I guess, friendlier to the eye that way.
That is crazy.
It is. It's ridiculous.
Do you need to know the secret password to get let in? Like, is there a fake door? You go in through the phone booth or something?
Like a speakeasy, you bang on the door, they open a little window. Yeah.
You know, a lot of them have been going away too because they make it so hard for them to operate out here and make a living. So, you know, a handful closed this year. I think definitely more than 5 or 6 already. So it's kind of sad. I hate to see them go away. Some of them move, and some of, you know, to a different state, and some of them just go out of business.
Yeah, that's crazy that no matter what kind of business it is, as long as it's a legal business, that the government would want to lose those tax dollars and put them out of business by their ridiculous regulations.
Mm-hmm.
You know how long that place has been there?
I think 1960-ish, quite a while.
Oh wow, long time.
Yeah, definitely a long time. Like the Fred, he's the man that founded the place, and he's amazing. He's older gentleman, and kind of is like a encyclopedia of guns, if you will. Pretty cool. Definitely a lot of culture there.
That's the kind of gun shops I like, where you can talk to somebody who's been around forever and ever, and they can bend your ear for half an hour and entertain you with their stories of what it used to be like.
I can't even imagine a shop that's been around LA for such a long time. Just the way that the town has changed around them would have been amazing. Just to see it and fast forward or something.
I know that they're pretty active with the Safari Club, and they're lots of hunters keep them in business. They have a lot of fans, so they're doing okay. They're one of the shops that will probably last through all the bullshit that we have to deal with out here.
Yeah, that's a lot of people will ignore the fact that hunters may not be the most active for Second Amendment stuff, but I mean they are driving a lot of the firearms business, just in that they're willing to pay, and so far they haven't been targeted so much by the anti-gunners.
Very true.
Right on. So thanks for filling in the gun shop. Like I say, we try to hit a new gun shop every day. So you helped us with that. We are going to be doing the Every Second Matters show after this, and Smeggy and I were talking about it earlier this month about doing a tally board of Second Amendment issues, some sort of spreadsheet type of system where the issue is there with some sort of peg next to, like, in committee, past committee, or some sort of indication of how far along the process it is, so that we can see which ones are imminent and which ones are taking too long. Maybe add a time element to it so we can see which ones are stagnant and are sitting there not doing anything, so we know where to light some fires potentially. So look forward to that. If you want to be part of that, it'll start about an hour or something like that. I think it's 6:30. I set it up for 6:30 our time, so it'll start in about 2 hours from now, something like that. That's it's the second day of every month. We've been doing this for 4 years now, and keep struggling at it. The idea is to create a platform for advocates to get together, share resources, network, keep track of what's happening, and affect some change, ideally. I think next, unless anybody wants to do something different, we can head over into the gun of the day, which looks like I need to.
Yeah, just real quick, I'm screen sharing the website. I think they only have pretty much just 2 pictures. So,
yeah,
you're right. Outside, we don't really know. What's that?
I was gonna say, throw a link into the spreadsheet just so we have it as a.
Yeah, sure thing. But yeah, this there's the inside of it. It's got some stuff.
Ooh, that's a nice looking shop. The outside, you don't see anything. It's like
yeah, they're huge on the inside, pretty big.
I'll check out gallery, see if they have some pictures or something.
They actually have a place where I can go shoot by myself too, and I love to shoot there because I don't have a million people telling me what to do and what not to do, and I can actually just be one with my gun and with a little bit of privacy and just go at it.
So what does that mean? Like there's a room with just a couple of lanes in it or something?
Well, yeah, it's literally like one long, looks like a hallway, if you will.
Cool.
I won't lie, I hit the wall with my 45 once, but we won't talk about that. Whatever, I'm new. But yeah, I guess they do it because they have to test whatever it is that they're working on, and I get to, or I at least once upon a time got to enjoy it. Pretty cool.
Oh, so that's not something that they just offer. That was just an opportunity.
Yeah, that's definitely theirs. So, but I got access because I'm cool like that.
Right on. No, I know exactly what you're talking about then. Just almost like a tunnel that they use for, like you're saying, testing or clearing or.
Yeah.
Cool.
shooting the wall, whatever.
The one I saw here in Tucson is underground, so it's in a tunnel. Is this one up in the air, that up on above ground with walls?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh well, they were probably lined with metal or something. It was a 45, so you'd know right away if it not.
I think I posted a picture of it. I'll repost so that you guys can laugh at me later.
I'd never laugh at you.
Sure you
All right.
Much.
Well, let's laugh at this because it's a Kahr P380. So we try to talk about a gun every day. Bob usually does it, but since he was traveling, I threw a bunch of old videos up. So this, I don't need the sound. We will hit play though. It is screen sharing, right? Yeah. So this is an old video of a Kahr P380. I guess we took it out shooting. I think this is a cool looking gun. I don't like Kahrs very much, but I do like the look of this gun, and I wanted to like it. I like 380s, and at the time, I don't know if anybody remembers when this thing first came out, there weren't a lot of little 380s that were, there was the Keltec P380, that was it. So compared to that, this thing was a little cool, a little cooler, and like I said, I really wanted to like it more. It wasn't cheap, but it was interesting. Anyway, there you go. So it's an interesting gun, and it certainly looks good laying there. It takes a good picture. Has anybody ever shot one?
Nope.
Negative, Ghost Rider.
Do they have cars out in California? I know you guys have to have them on a list or whatever.
Yeah, actually we do, and I saw that gun when I was first shopping, and I thought it was pretty sexy, and I kind of wanted to check it out, but it was expensive. I remember, I think it was like $600 for that little 380. I'm not sure, but yeah, why didn't you like it? Did you shoot it?
I didn't like it because it doesn't work all the time. There's a break-in period on cars, but I don't like guns that have break-in periods, at least for a carry gun. And they're notorious for that side plate blowing off. So they don't have enough reputation that I would feel comfortable carrying it. When I've spent some time working behind the counter of shops or hanging out in shops a lot, very low opinions of cars out there. Usually it's the people that come in out of nowhere and say, I'm going to buy a gun. Oh, Kahr, cool. That's your car owners. It's very few people that have been in the guns for a while and say, now I'm buying that car I've always wanted.
Now, would that be the one that Daniel bought?
Yeah.
Is that the same model of Kahr?
Yeah, and immediately I let him know my disdain for the gun, and I don't think he kept it very long based on his own observations of it. They look cool, though.
Right. Yeah, I remember us giving him some stuff about it when he said he was getting one, and then, yeah, if I remember correctly, he got rid of it pretty quickly.
I had to put 500 rounds through my 382, the Glock 42. I definitely had to break that bitch, and it took a minute.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't consider the tiny Glocks Glocks. Those are just some new novelty gun that Glock makes. They're not the old time or tested and true Glock anymore. So well, they're not. The Glock that's been around since 1984 is a thing, and anything they do now to it, even that Glock 40 I like, that ain't really a Glock anymore. Kind of a Glock.
I prefer a gun that's tried and true and tested in the military for years.
What?
I like a gun that's tried and true and is still being used in the military. So,
yeah, exactly. So I just happen to be over here if I'm still screen sharing. Looks like Jeff Knox joined Every Second Matters last month. Pretty cool. We'll keep going. So what would be next on the agenda? Do we want to talk about the movie or?
Yeah, we can talk about the movie.
We could do the movie.
Oh, Bandidas. Oh, yeah. Okay. I kind of like this movie.
Wait, what? So you never know when it's going to happen. This is a tactical pop quiz. We're not farting around like Dano, taking all kinds of time to make it real elaborate. We're about to have the tactical pop quiz. I guess I'll read the question and Smeggy can watch to see what's coming.
All right. Yep. I can see everything.
The Colt Single Action Army Pistol production. The Colt Single Action Army Pistol production was started and stopped how many times? This does not include the Colt Cowboy model. Wow, this is an interesting question. So he left this question here like a steaming pile of tactical pop quiz, and then didn't bother to show up for the show. So this is what we're left with when he's not here. The Colt single action army pistol
Oh
production
man, we got an
was
answer.
started and stopped how many times? So hold on. You're saying there's already an answer.
There's already an answer. Arctic.
Is it his question though? I mean, did he send it in? This is
Well, I hope not. I think he would recognize it and not answer.
okay.
But anyways, the answer was 3. 3 times. First start was 1873, was restarted in 1956, and lastly in 1976.
Are there questions Is there comments coming in on the gun channel side? Oh, I'm on the lobby. I'm like,
Yeah.
nothing happening on gun channels today. Whoops. Okay. Now I see there's actually stuff happening.
Yep, Arctic got it, and there are answers coming in on the YouTube side, but they're all way higher.
Okay. So now I understand why my screen wasn't updating. So I thought I had this open, but I guess I didn't. We want to send you over to our website, which is dailygunshow.com. We have a page over there for the winners of the daily pop quiz where you can log in and let us know, take a get a point for the day. And then later on in the month, we'll take a look at what we do with that point system. Because we're going to figure that out in a week or so. So click on this and click on this. And this was on the gun channel side?
Yep.
All right. So thanks for that. And you already did the rest of that?
Nope. So Arctic for getting the correct answer of 3. That makes you the tactical hot shot of the day.
I like how Smeggy puts a little extra little swirl at the bottom that Z never really did.
I appreciate
it hurts himself though.
And but I had to make it my own, so I did just tweak it a little bit, but
Sold it and then tweaked it. Yeah.
So each day we have these tactical pop quizzes, right? So we do the tactical quiz on Wednesdays, or we were doing the tactical quiz on Wednesdays. I just now moved it to Saturdays. So, but we've been doing these pop quizzes every day. That seemed like the weirdest question ever, though. Did anyone even follow that question? It was asking how many times the production of that one specific revolver had started and stopped.
it must have been easy to Google because the thing came in pretty quick.
Okay.
Unless he just knows, maybe he works for Colt.
Well, no, he might have just known because, like, lots of people who follow the Colt single action would tell you, oh, they quit making it here, and then they started making it again, then they quit, and they started making it again. That just shows how popular that firearm is. I mean, it's something that's been being made since the 1800s that they had to start making again twice because.
Yeah, but why'd they stop then? That's like I've always wondered.
Well, they quit because they think it's old technology, right? They go, oh, single action, who'd want that? Oh, we're all modern now, and then.
No, I think they don't have sales, and they go, hey, it's costing us a lot of money to have these guys sit around and make guns that are piling up in our warehouse and nobody's buying them. So then they end production at some point, and then they get enough demand for them again, and people are like, hey, we have orders for these. We'll make them again.
Yeah, but I always thought it weird of boxers or I don't know, wrestlers or whatever when they're like, oh man, this guy he won the belt 13 times. He's the best ever. It's like, well, that means he lost it 12 times. Like a good one gets it and never loses it. Like what the heck? But anyways.
Yeah, they'll quit making those CZs one day and the Glocks. I always make the 1911.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know who he's trying to anger. He's just lashing out, it seems like.
At the world. Some people want to watch the world burn.
Yep. Just wants to swing. So I don't know what else we got left. Patch panel stories. What do you know? So am I still screen sharing? I think I am. So I will click on my screen again and we will head over to.
Who's that attractive girl in the Every Second Matters shirt?
And we will go to the tactical quiz page. And
35 tapes.
this is Hashi right there. So this is the the patch panel. So we've changed around some stuff so that we can dedicate our shipping funds to the tactical quiz. So we used to use this patch panel for the daily pop quiz. Now we just use it for the tactical quiz. But it's a patch panel of patches that we made ourselves here in Tucson. Some of them are our designs that we have made for us. Others, people have donated to the cause. They have seen what we're doing and wanted to put their patches in. Others come from like Pink or Marco, who are out going around and about and gathering patches and sending them in. Others, Bob and I have bought at gun shows and stuff. So they come in from all over the place. Now you'll notice there's a lack of a hash tactical one, and I'm going to bring that up because anyway, let me finish. We're about to do the patch panel stories where the people out in the audience are going to pick one of the patches and then we're going to explain it. So while people are out there in the audience picking one, I'll explain why we don't have a hash tactical one on here. I lost them. You sent me that box of them a long time ago, a really generous box of them, and with all kinds of other stuff too. And then for some reason in my head, it was an envelope, one of those padded envelopes. So almost ever since you sent me that box, I've been running around looking for this damn padded envelope that I could remember how I had ripped it open. So I had this envelope in my mind, looking through all over. I don't know how many times I went past that little box, and it was more like one of those $5 fixed shipping box type of boxes. So I found it today. I was like, oh, I'm finding this damn box today. I'm going through every single freaking file of everything. So now we will have your patches back up there.
And I'll send you some more too so you can share.
Oh, right on. I do have that giant stack of them because you did send me a bunch. But since we have that one, I did want to explain why we're missing an important one. But
I'm not sure why I'm missing one.
I had to replenish, and I'm sending them to you.
Sorry, I'm just teasing around.
I know you are, but I didn't forget. I may be guilty of not doing it yet, but I didn't forget.
Let's see.
Well, I certainly hope that I get one in the bag of goodies I get sent to me from G-Webs.
Yeah, you're lucky to get anything since you ripped off like half of my inventory last time you were in here unattended.
I had to fill my patch ball.
Normally, I have my dog watch people like Bob when they're in my house unattended, but he's taking advantage of my elderly dog, like being distracted.
Your elderly dog likes me. That's all it is.
Hey, you were pretty generous. You let me grab a whole bunch.
Yeah, that's different. You can actually post them on the internet, and that goes far. Everything I give to
Bob
you.
just shows them to a moose that lives next door.
Yeah. Just throwing it into some kind of cache in Canada. So Vroom on the YouTube side is saying, let's talk about the patch that brings you the most shame for losing patches. I don't know what that means. So that's the only suggestion we've had, though. The other one says it's National Donut Day. Do we have any of the donuts up there?
Oh, any of the gun show loophole ones?
No, I don't think nobody was picking them. So I don't know. We'll just go with whatever when he tells us what he means by brings me the most.
I think he was joking because you lost the Hash Tacticals patch.
Yeah, you know what? You know why I don't have a donut patch? Because you never made a plain donut patch. They're always got all that sprinkles and shit on them, and I don't like.
I was like, I'll take one, but you got to wipe the frosting off and the sprinkles. We don't want none of that. So you're saying, Bob, you don't even have the donuts?
No, I don't have a donut patch.
All that other stuff you stole off of me, and you didn't take any of the donuts? There's
You have a plain patch.
handfuls.
I don't think I have
Yeah.
Okay, well, that I need to find out. So definitely there's got to be a care package going to California. And then I guess...
Yeah, she was part of the loophole tour because you met her when you were doing the Ring of Fire.
It was just 3 PVC all. I didn't have them yet, and it was bothering me because I got them like the minute I arrived or something. It was really because I had to pick you up. I had to go. I couldn't wait for them, but that's how it always is, right? You get these things like en route. Like so, as soon as I got back, they were here. But no, I'll send some up then.
And the SIG brace patches too, because I gave those away to people at SIG. They loved them.
Oh, the braceless ones? Oh,
Yeah,
sure. See, that's what's different, Bob. I give Hashi a braceless patch, and she gives it to SIG. I give Bob a patch, and, well, it doesn't go to SIG. Freedom rings. Okay, Archie is asking about freedom rings. That's the first one I saw. So I'm going to talk about that one. So that one is made by Autoloader, Moon Food, or Autoloader as we know them on the Instagram. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. So it's between the dead air suppressors and this one from Milspec Monkey, this communist flag, and a communist Chinese flag, the guns saves lives button, which is no longer here. Somebody grabbed that one already, so this is an old picture. And then some Atlantic Arms AK-47 one. It's actually pretty neat. It's got a little silhouette of an AK-47 with a underfolder stock on it. Anyway, this is a Freedom Ring, so it's a play off of Burger King, and I think we were just trying to come up with a cool design. Moon likes to design patches and stuff, and I was playing with the machine, and he was helping me to come up with some designs that could sew good, or that would sew out well. And I think it was a pretty neat design. I guess there's just not enough people that like Burger King that it never really has. We have only sold a few of them, but these are all made here in Tucson by us. It's never really brought in enough demand to make them anywhere else. So kind of an interesting one. We'll continue to do those. It's fun to bring new products up. One that we could talk about that's not on here is the Tactical Jess. I forget her name. Whatever Jess's
Southern
name
Jazz?
is. What?
Southern Jazz.
Yeah. So her one where she had the shoes and the rifle. I did that I did that patch of that one, and that was another one that was pretty fun. When something about a picture or something you can just tell can work well in a patch. The color, whatever distribution, it can be done in a few colors, kind of thing. So it's kind of fun to put those kind of things together. So we'll continue to do those when we can in the future.
I want one of those. I have to look for that now. Let's see.
I'm trying to get them in PVC, but I've been wrestling with the company. We did let's see, do we have the Glocktober one? No, we don't. The old the second year Glocktober one where it looks kind of like a barmaid, except instead of holding Stein, she's got Glocks with extendos. That one we tried to do the next year in PVC. And usually the PVC artists or whatever you call people that work for the PVC companies can you give them an image and they make it awesome in PVC. With that, it looked like scrambled eggs holding two extendo Glocks in a dress. So I was like, no, this doesn't look really good. So they had the same problem with that one from Jess. So we have to redo the art basically and keep working on it.
So sometimes maybe if it's too detailed, the PVC just kind of globs together or something.
Or maybe because I was such a dick about the other one that they're like, nope, we're not going down that road with this guy because he wants perfection and it's not worth it because I'm only ordering 100 patches or something. Like I said, I keep saying I'm surprised these companies even work with us because they're the same people that work with like Dickies or a boot company for like the little rubber thing you put on the back of a boot. So they're probably making like millions of those, and then they're stopping all that and doing like 100 for somebody like us. It's just, I'm surprised they do it. All right, well, so that was, I think, almost everything, right? We usually wrap up the week a little bit. We can blow that off like we always do. It's Donut Day. I guess that's something we can talk about since we got Bob in here, the lover of the plainest donuts ever. Let's see if I can go find a picture of Bob.
I like plain donuts. What's the big deal?
Well, hang on. I want to kind of bring this up and hash tactical. Krispy Kreme or Dunkin' Donuts?
Both. Why do I have to choose?
That's an interesting answer.
Why can't I have both?
You gotta try a Timmy's donut from Tim Hortons. Oh, the best.
Tim Hortons is pretty good, but I'm just curious because that showed up in a chat at one time, and yeah, we were arguing for like an hour about stupid donuts. It was pretty entertaining.
And you, which one?
If it's like fresh, like right out the oven, Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
But if it sits for any amount of time, then they're just kind of gross and plain, and I like Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, here we have actual
caveat.
Here we have visual evidence, an actual photograph that has not been doctored or photoshopped of Bob eating the punishment donut, the donut you get when you go to the donut shop and you've been bad. But you have to get something because it's technically you get a donut, but they're going to give you the punishment donut. And that's what Bob's eating.
It's a good donut. It's just a plain glazed donut.
They only make these out of like some kind of a law that says they have to make a percentage of empty donuts.
It's like the carbon tax thing, how car companies have to make,
Or it's
a
for
certain
like
percentage of electric cars.
it's for like the poor people. They can't afford to get a real donut, so they have to make a certain amount so that they get some kind of tax benefit status or something as a donut shop. I don't know. It's complicated and it has to do with taxes, but I always thought they just made 6 of them, and whenever they got too infested with maggots or like moths or whatever, they would throw them away and make some new ones or pick some new ones up off the floor. But evidently people buy it.
Yeah, because they're good.
But today is donut day. Did anybody go get a donut or anything?
I did not.
I got Timbits.
I had donut holes.
Yeah, that's what Timbits are. They're just the hole.
Are they tactical Timbits?
They weren't tactical. And
Well,
they were sorted, so there was all different types, G.
I sacrificed everything and went and grabbed a couple of donuts. Now, I didn't want to get any orange donuts because we'll have to talk about that also right now. But I did grab a couple. Tried to get ones that matched the donut loopholes, but they didn't. I couldn't find them today. I could only get these. And also, I didn't get any for free, which I feel like I got scammed because it's supposed to be a free donut when you go to places today. But I did find the patches, so we'll be adding those to the patch panel, and we'll have those for the tactical quiz tomorrow. So let's talk about it being the 2nd of June. So this is this Gabby Gifford anniversary of that garbage here in Tucson? Is that why they picked today?
I don't know why they picked today. I just know it's dumb.
I think that might be, or some other instance of whatever that they're going to try to exploit. Anyway, if you're wearing orange today, it's supposed to be in whatever for support or whatever of ending gun violence. So I made this awesome meme. I saw NRA did one similar, but I guess
Yours
it's
is better.
We do our show at 7 p.m., but I tried to post this earlier in the day so that people would know, just in case, because every once in a while I wear an orange shirt because I like orange, but today would not be the day to wear orange because it would be taken as solidarity with garbage bullshit. Has anybody seen any orange people walking around?
No. Well, I saw an orange person, but I think that was just a really bad spray tan.
Just on the ground for I think the first year that they did it, I think I trolled and put up a why women should learn to shoot post or something, but I feel like it's kind of dying out instead of getting bigger like it should be.
You mean the wearing an orange shirt type of campaign?
I think the movement isn't as big as they kind of pretended it is.
We went last year. I think it was last year. I don't think it was 2 years ago to the event they held downtown here in Tucson, and yeah, it was. It was what you'd expect. I don't know how many people showed up. If I remember, we counted maybe 100 or something altogether, or 60 or some number. It wasn't super big, but the pictures, the photographs were all taken at the head level of the very last person in line. And then when you actually saw the finished photos, of course, it looked like maybe a baseball field. The perspective made it seem like a baseball field full of like audience when, of course, it was nowhere near that.
They're good at that.
But that's good. So if people aren't out there seeing orange shirts, that's good. But anyway,
Yeah, and I have to say, I really like when people take over a hashtag. So post some type of pro self-defense or, I don't know. I know I did this last year. I put up a graph that shows gun ownership going way up and crime going way down. And I just put, it looks like we solved it. You can all go home now. I'm thinking about reposting that again, saying, another year, more guns, still less violence. So, anyways, I love when that hashtag I'm unloading was supposed to be about like people selling stocks in gun companies, and the gun community just took that over like crazy. That Bloomberg doesn't even use it anymore. So let's make them give up wear orange.
We could take this in a couple of ways, really, because there are some targets.
Hunters are all over it, I think,
Yeah, exactly. There's hunting aspect of it. There's some targets that are orange, right? And then, if gun owners would just make it a thing to use hashtag wear orange throughout the year, when I'm scrolling through like this and seeing predominantly anti-gun garbage, it would be speckled, right? It would be dissipated or whatever.
The people who search those tags, sometimes those people they're undecided. So if you can get like a message out there and actually find someone who thinks objectively and actually, with some common sense and say something that makes sense, and hey, you know what? I like to live. And I shouldn't care about your life more than you do. Like, you should care about your life too. And that makes sense to a lot of people. And I think that it's not just about taking over the hashtag, although that is pretty fun, but there's a lot of people who aren't sure yet. And I think that it's important to share our side of it too, I guess.
Yeah,
exactly. I see you just scrolled past 2017 matters.
What?
You just scrolled past the post from 2017 matters.
Oh, where was it? I didn't see it.
It was up there a little bit. It was talking about, hey, convicted felons have to wear orange. Like, that would help. Or was that the Hillary Clinton one? I forget.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see it. But that's interesting that, using it to help get the message out is another way of doing it for sure. And then it's not like necessarily like, I don't know, considered aggressive or something. I don't know where that one is, Smeggy. What picture was it?
It was, I don't remember now. I just know I saw it. It was something about convicted felons. Whereas if you really want to end gun violence, like, just lock up criminals because they're the problem, not the objects.
This is the NRA one. Anyway, so we're giving away too much stuff, and we try not to be too topical, but it is a thing that's happening today. So.
I was watching on the gun channel side, so it was like delayed. So when I said, "Oh, there it is," you were way past it.
Wonder.
Yeah, my Hangout's not showing your screen for some reason.
Oh, I just shut it down now. I turned off the screen share.
Well, even before that, when you're doing patch panel, I couldn't see it in the Hangout, but I could see it on the video on gun channels. So. My computer's just being weird. It did just update, so whatever.
We never did do the gun or the movie, right? I think we were going to think about it, and then we did the tactical pop quiz. So the movie of the day, we try to hit a gun-related movie every day, something that you might not have seen in a while, or if you're a youngin', something you ain't seen yet. And so today it is Bandidas. Anybody seen this movie?
Yes, but I don't remember a whole lot about the gunplay. I just remember Selma. Whatever her name is.
It's like a comedy western. I'm gonna switch here. I liked it better than the one with Sharon Stone, I think. Although it's just kind of silly western, whatever theme or whatever, but it's just sort of a comedy. But it had gunplay in it. This was the scene, I think, that I remember from the gunplay part where the one was a knife thrower and the other one was the gun slinger. And I forget which one was which. And, they were teaching the other one to shoot. Nothing? Doesn't ring a bell?
I haven't seen the movie, but that's not surprising.
Oh, no. I've seen the movie. It's just like I say, I don't think it was a good enough movie that the whole movie's just burned into my mind, but I remember some of the scenes because I really like that actress.
She's just as beautiful in person.
You met him?
I actually work with a lot of celebrities.
So you're saying that's your best friend? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't talk to their people more than I talk to them. But yeah, she's gorgeous in person. She's flawless.
All right, so if you've got ideas for movies, we are running out of them. So we try to make this a collaborative effort with the audience. So our email is dailygunshow@gmail.com. If you have ideas for gun-related movies, I think we have maybe 6 or 8 left in our list there. So we could definitely use some more. We'd appreciate it. With that, though, I think we're about done with the show. We hit pretty much everything in here, I think, and even with our guest. So I think we did pretty good. And we did it in pretty good time, if I'm calculating it right. So that means we'll be back next on Monday with episode 326. We'll be talking about, I think this one was from Tony, Artisan Tony. For our social media segment of the show on Monday, we'll be talking about why social media is so lame. And I think he was kidding, of course, but I think it's worth addressing because I think at our peril, we ignore social media. It is something that's pretty powerful and it's pretty fun. So as far as things go, we have more to gain by being aware of it than we have to lose by ignoring it. Then in the gun tech segment of the show, let's see, what do you think about Glock finally putting front serrations on their guns while my slide is at ATEI getting serrations added? So I'm guessing that might have been from Auto Loader from a while back. And then we have all our other stuff, Gun Shop of the Day, the movie, and all that. Oh, we had tried to talk about the movies for next week, so you can watch them ahead of time. Next week, we'll be talking about Assault on Precinct 13. I'm guessing the original, since we usually like the originals better. Southern Comfort. The Siege of J.Ville, which I still have not seen. Everybody says it's good. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, which I haven't seen in forever. And then Crank.
Yeah, well, actually, I've seen Crank. Yeah, that's interesting.
We got a question coming in from the YouTube. This would be a good time to mention. What channel is Every Second Matters chat going to be on today?
It'll be on the channel over on Gun Channel. It's called Every Second Matters. It'll be on the Gun website's YouTube channel. And then, well, that's the two places it'll be.
All right, that's good information. And I just kind of want to mention that there are Every Second Matters patches available at gearwebsites.com. And if you get that patch for one, you can wear it around, especially on the second of every month. There's t-shirts also that can kind of spark a conversation. Someone goes, hey, what the heck's that all about? Oh, do you have time to talk about the Second Amendment? And then you sit there and have a nice little conversation with them. And also the proceeds help keeping everything going. So we appreciate people picking up some patches or t-shirts or whatever.
Yeah, that's how it works out. It's costing me about $50 a month, or so to speak, for Every Second Matters to exist. And I'm not bitching, it's just to give people an idea. So like this month, I was really considering, I'm not wealthy, so I was really considering the amount of use that the site gets and the amount of people that are using it. The way that we built it, it's the same software package that we have underneath Gun Channel. So pretty expensive software package that's already bought and paid for. Right now, the only thing we're paying for on a monthly basis is the server, the computer that it lives on that keeps it on 24/7. And since no one's really using the interactive or whatever, the participatory nature of that big membership system that's sitting underneath of it, I can strip that off and use it for some other project. It's still thousands of dollars worth of software I can use for other things that, like I say, is bought and paid for. And then we could put Every Second Matters on a much smaller scale type of website and get just as much effectiveness out of it. Now it's designed to have a lot of people use it. And for the goal would be to have a lot of people in different parts of the country keep it up to date. And then everybody who is using it as just a viewer could then be up to date on what's going on out there, what the various groups are doing. Ideally, the groups would all participate themselves to use it as the Every Second Matters platform as a way to amplify and help distribute their message. And once you get a few groups using it to amplify and to put out their messages, and you get enough people who are aware of that and coming to the site to receive those messages, then we actually become an effective force. We become a group of people who are advocates that are being informed and knowing on a regular basis what's important. And we're working on building tools, that we can use to keep our focus on what's important, what's been waiting too long, what's not moving fast enough, and that kind of thing. And maybe what they're trying to sneak in New Hampshire, or what they're trying to add to California, or what they're doing to somebody in Texas where nobody's paying attention. And again, we can become a force to be reckoned with when there's enough people that are aware of these little quick moves and tactics that the other side will use. It becomes much more difficult to use those same old tricks. So really what we're trying to do is a bigger purpose. And I'm just throwing that out there in this show. We'll talk about it in the Every Second Matters for sure. But like Smeggy said, just a little bit of participation keeps it alive. This month I was really thinking about downscaling it, and one order came in for 4 patches, and that paid the server bill basically. I mean, that was $40-something minus my shipping. and that basically covers the server bill. So now it's a lot less for me to deal with $7 than it was for 50 something dollars. So we're not dealing with big budgets here. So I'm going to be putting out not just the patches, which we've done, buy one patch at a time. We're going to be putting out like a 4-pack and an 8-pack, with the idea that if you buy a 4-pack, you have some to trade or to give away or to help spread the word. And you're also buying a few patches, which keeps the server going for a few weeks. Ideally, it would pay for a little bit of our time so that we could spend a little bit more effort on the thing. But it's not designed to be a money-making thing. So at this point, I just want to let people know that just a few patch orders are all it needs to keep Every Second Matters going. And Smeggy and myself and others will continue to put our time into it because we do feel it's valuable. And hopefully it will, it's been 4 years now. It'll continue to be that resource for people. And we had some interest from, like I said earlier, from Chris Knox. So that's a good sign. He's a very big deal in the pro-gun, pro-gun rights. Jeff Knox, sorry, thanks. Anyway, having him be on board would be great. We have invites out to him, so hopefully we'll see some of the writers and people involved in these things. I think Cash mentioned that Danny, what's his name, from FPC?
Oh, Brandon.
Brandon from FPC is going to be joining us to tell us something about California. So, we continue to have the shows on the 2nd of every month, and we'll continue to put time into the project as we're able. So anyway, thanks, Maggie, for mentioning that. There is no cost at all to join Every Second Matters for anyone ever. There are the patches that keep it online, and I just wanted to take a moment to explain that to the people listening to this show, because I suspect you're the ones that can help let other people know about that in other shows or chats or other things you might be in.
I've got some ideas for you.
What's that?
I said I have some ideas for you, actually. Guns is sales and marketing, so.
Oh, right on. Well, I guess with that, we'll wrap up this one, and I'll also let people know that I do have the Kickstarter project going, doing some playing cards again. This time around, we're doing Old West playing cards, so it's a deck of 52 cards. Each of the cards is an individual Old West or gun from the Old West with a color image, some statistics about it, and they're pretty cool. Gotten pretty good response from people that have seen them in real life, and obviously people are digging it on the Kickstarter project. It's already funded. We've already hit 2 of the stretch goals, so we will be sending out stickers with all the decks, and I think we're just a couple of $100 now away from having PVC patches go out with all the decks. This week, I guess this coming week, or this weekend, we will be talking about the art on the back side of the cards. I didn't really get much interest from people who wanted to participate and kind of work on the back art. So we'll talk about that in a live show. And we'll also try to get some old timers who are into old time guns to sit down and play some cards with me so we can talk about the various cards and if the information's accurate, some other things, if I picked the right cards and that kind of thing. So anybody who's interested in that, continue to on that. And then again, thanks to everyone who's participated up to this point to making them come to life. They will happen now. We're in the same boat we were with the AK cards. We've got 25 days, 24 days to go, which is plenty of time to reach our big stretch goal to have the cards made here in the USA. So we'll keep everybody up to date on the progress on that, keeping all the money here in the States. But either way, we'll have these made and they'll be going out sometime in September. All right, with that, I guess we will say thanks to everybody. Smeggy, you want to do the punch-outs tonight?
Sure. So today being Friday, there will be a Edge of the Week show later tonight. But more importantly, being the 2nd of the month, there'll be Every Second Matters chat a little bit after this one, like we just talked about. I'm not sure when Edge does his. It's later in the night, though. Sorry, I'm bad at this. I don't have enough tabs open. And Saturday, Travis has his Caliber Corners. It's like before the sun comes up Saturday morning, super early. Actually, I think it's 9 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time. Then Rick does a show at 3 o'clock in the afternoon Rick's Life as I See It. Sunday morning, I think Matt's doing his coffee and gun show. There'll be lobbies all weekend, I'm sure, and then we'll be back Monday afternoon after the morning show on Monday.
Yep, except this week we're going to take over Rick's show, and we're going to talk about the Gun Channel's trading cards.
Oh, that's right.
We'll probably have a Hash Tactical card going around this time, since so many of us have met her, and she's met so many of us, except for Smeggy. Couldn't be bothered. But and then,
Shut up.
So we'll be doing that with Rick's show, I would say 3 p.m. on Saturday, tomorrow. And then, of course, we have the tactical quiz on Saturday.
Oh, tactical quiz. Yeah, I do apologize. I'm in the process of doing Every Second Matters prep. I have like 50 tabs open now because a lot of stuff happened in May.
Right on. Yep, it's going to be kind of a busy couple of days. So, Hash, again, thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and be rude and offer and invite you to come back as often as you want. We'll kick Dano out of here. We'll kick Bob out of here if we have to.
You guys
So if you want to become a regular, I'm sure no one will mind. But really, anytime you want to come back, please feel free. You're always welcome. And I appreciate you jumping in at last moment like this. It worked out great with being the second and everything.
No, I love that you thought of me. This is fun. Thank you.
Cool. And hopefully, if you got time, stick around and be on the Every Second Matters show as well. We'll roll up our sleeves and get into California legislation and how to be active against what's coming against us.
So fun.
And we'll let Bob take it away from there.
All right. Well, all right, everybody. I guess gotta turn the camera on just so I can. Every second matters. Hat and shirt. All right. So we like to end our show on a quote. This one's, I think, by Euclides, which is a philosopher. I believe. I don't know. For some reason, I don't have the name down. But before that, I want to remind everybody to please like, subscribe, and share our show. It's good to get the word out there about what's going on in the gun community and that we're not a bunch of crazy people. Well, some of us are. On with the quote, through defensive violence. Yeah, I can't even read today. Though defensive violence will always be a sad necessity in the eyes of men of principle, it would be still more unfortunate if wrongdoers should dominate just men. So on that, I'd like to thank everybody for watching and listening, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Or no, Monday. Well, we'll probably see you tomorrow. We'll see you later on the library. Never mind. See you guys.
Good job, Bob.
GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.